Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We really need a catchy, like, let's get cooking, or something like that. We need a something like that.
And a sizzle effect,
And a sizzle effect.
a
That's what we
sizzle
need.
audio effect.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into the kitchen. There are a gazillion different things that sort of came out this week that we're going to try and help everyone make sense of. The first of which is I'm trying to turn on a wallpaper for this, but I can't figure out where that setting is. Which is really fun.
I don't think it's available till Zoom 6.0 client comes out.
Oh, we're not in 6.0. I did see that. We are in 5.17 something, right?
Yeah, I didn't see anything on,
17.11. Yeah.
and I didn't see anything this week as far as Windows new client
So
update.
there, I do know that Zoom is giving a keynote next week. Oh goodness, I'm forgetting the name of the. Let's see, where are they going to be? Hold on, let me find out for you. They're giving a keynote at Enterprise Connect, and the keynote is on 6.0. Delivering the future of employee and customer happiness today. That does not tell us when it'll be released, but they are certainly announcing a few things this coming week. But it's not out yet. So sorry, we don't have any beautiful, nice wallpaper. But let's go around and say hi to everyone. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Greetings. Good to see you, David.
Good to see you too. Anything exciting going on in Ivyland?
Yeah, a couple of things. New people saying, I want to test it. I want to see how it works. Got a commitment from Cleveland Clinic yesterday. They want to, down in Miami, actually in Weston.
Nice. That's right by me.
Yeah. Well, I combined a visit from my oncologist with a pitch to sell her IV on a video call. So
That's
it was
wonderful.
productive. Yeah.
That's
It's
great.
good news.
Good. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hello, everybody. Doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same old, same old. Keeping busy, finding
Very
new
nice.
brands, bringing in new things.
I like it. I'll take it. Good afternoon, Frank. Are you good afternoon? You are good afternoon, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eastern time zone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thanks. Same to you.
I have wet feet because it's raining here like crazy. Oh my goodness.
We have the frozen version on our ground.
You know what? I'll take the rain.
That's Deerfield Beach.
Yes,
not too
it
far
is.
from you, and it looks pretty I mean,
Yeah.
nobody wants to be at the beach in South Florida today.
And yet I'm sure there are people there. James.
I also have some of the frozen variety of the snow, and apparently we're supposed to get hit with some real snow. I mean, it was a good snow, but Sunday, Monday. So the only thing is we haven't had snow this year, and I want snow so I can throw grass seed
Why would you throw grass seed on snow?
because it's frozen, so it won't sprout, and it embeds itself into the ground nice, and then it should just start right when you want it to
Wow.
start.
Did not know that. Learn something new in the kitchen every day. Thanks, James.
Well,
And say
can I say
again.
one more thing?
You can say two more things, especially if it's about seed and grass and snow.
No, it's about your website.
Uh-oh.
I I really like all the little graphics in there and the way you have it organized. It's very nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a little scared though, because I build all of my sites on Wix because I'm a dummy and I don't know how to do CSS or anything like that. And Wix, back in maybe October, November, announced Wix Studio, which is sort of their new platform on which to build. And the other day, they announced that you can now move your sites over to the new Wix Studio. And I've played around in the Wix Studio, and it's a very, very nice website editor, but it's new. Buttons are in different places, and different things do different things. And so I have at least 25 websites on Wix, and I'm just so terrified about moving them over. I'm always one of those early adopters, but this just scares me, because if it breaks something, then I just don't have the time to fix it all. But thank
Do
you.
they-
for that. I appreciate it.
David, do they allow you to actually run simultaneous? So will
No.
they allow you to have a dev and a regular?
Not that I know of. So when you port it over, it doesn't actually publish any of the changes until you, on that new platform, press the publish button. So what you could do is move it all over, play with it, work with it, make sure everything's set right, and keep the old one running for the meantime. Just don't publish a new one. You could do that. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. It's not a bad idea. I could
Yeah,
do that.
again, that would be my suggestion, is to familiarize yourself with the new update, to actually make a carbon copy of it,
Right.
and actually have it go to like a different domain name other than your main, like www. Like have it to go like to like dev dot insert domain name here,
Right.
and then you can actually then play with it over there. And then when you're happy with it over there, then
Reassign it. Yeah.
then reassign it or cut over the old to
Yep.
new.
Yep. So I might do that. And Gerald is here, just saying hello to Gerald. Good to see your light bulb.
Hello, and
Hello.
I'm in my big comfy chair today.
Big comfy chair. It's big comfy chair day.
Happy to be learning from all of you.
Good to see you, Gerald. And hello to Hasmuk and his gorgeous meters that are here with us. So before we jump into anything new, can I just start with, so last night I had a program. I've had this program now. We've had 10 sessions, an educational program. It's been 10 sessions, all on Zoom, with a number of different speakers, and I've been moderating. And so I've just been using Zoom and ZoomOSC to do the spotlighting, and it's been brilliant, wonderful. So last night we had the kind of the culminating program, and it was on site and in Zoom. So the setup was, we had about 40 or so people sitting in a circle. We had a large screen at the front, which we didn't really need. It wasn't all that important to see the folks on Zoom. It was much more important for them to be able to see us and hear us. And then what I did is I brought just my laptop. I brought my, oh shoot, what is the little webcam that everyone loves? Not the OBSBot, the one before it. Insta360 link. Right. I brought my Insta360 link, which I have to say still is like just a fantastic image. It's just really, really nice. And I brought two Rode Wireless, my Rode Wireless Goes, basically. So I had the one webcam plugged into my computer, the receiver for the Wireless Goes plugged into my computer, and then I attached one Wireless Go to the mic that everyone was using in the circle, and then I wore the other one as the moderator. And everything worked really, really well. I was pleasantly surprised. The only thing that I was lacking, and I just wanted to put that out there as a suggestion for folks, and I just ordered one, is if you ever are going to do the kind of stuff, you should just always have a dock, one of those big, beefy, powered docks. I like the OWC. I just ordered myself the OWC Thunderbolt 4.1 just to have I have a couple on my desk, but I'm just obsessive enough that I'm not going to unplug everything so I can take it with me. I'm going to spend the money to get a dedicated one, because I'll unplug everything, then I won't know how to plug everything back in. But that's the one thing I was missing, because if I had that, I didn't have any more ports on my MacBook for power. So thank goodness my battery lasted, but it was chewing away at it. I mean, it was between Zoom, and the two inputs, the camera, it was eating away at my battery. I didn't have Ethernet, which turned out to be fine. This wasn't a make or break deal, so I was okay with Wi-Fi. And just other things, like if I wanted to have two webcams that I could kind of mix together, I couldn't have done that. So that was really the one thing that I felt like I was lacking, was all those ports that I needed. I don't know if there are other things that other people always put in their go bag when they're doing a mixed event like this, but it worked brilliantly. It really did. It was really nice. Yeah, Ray, you don't have to raise your hand. Go ahead.
As a meeting planner and production person, it is a good idea to keep the projector up of the remote audience. The presence is important, that the house, the live audience knows that they're there. And it's also important for them to feel like they know there's some connection. So I would encourage you to say that do what you can. Now, when it gets to budgets, I get in the conversation with a client, and my answer is, how much production value do we put on the remote audience versus the live audience? And the answer that I use is based on percentage. If you have 10 people in the live audience and 500 in the remote, then you put your money there. But at least have a monitor. It doesn't have to be a big screen, but it could be a couple of monitors since you're in a circle, so that people are mindful of the remote. Did the remote people contribute to the event?
They could have. They didn't, but they absolutely could have. They absolutely could have. Yeah, I think, and you're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. Right. Incidentally, other than just a crisp picture, the other reason why that the Insta360 was just a brilliant choice was I put it on a little tripod. I had a little cart with my computer sitting right next to me because I was in the circle. I put that on a little tiny tripod, a desktop tripod, and then on my computer, I had the Insta360 Link app open, and I was able to just literally just have it go around the room to whoever was speaking. I didn't have to move anything. It was just brilliant. The only thing that would have made my life a little easier is if I could have had two of those. Either I would have brought that and my OBS bod, so that, because it pans a little slowly, so it wouldn't get, if I had to go, inevitably it would be one person on this side of the room and then the next person would be on the other side of the room. And so if I could have had one for each side and then just mix them together in Ecamm or something.
You should have had those two people sit together, David.
Well, no, but it was whoever was speaking. So in any case, it was
David, how big was the actual circle?
Say again?
How big was the actual circle?
I don't know. There were 40 of us in the circle. I don't
4D? 40?
40, yeah. 40. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, a lot of productions that I've done in the past that have had something like that would have been easily 4 PTZs.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
At each corner.
Right, but here's the thing. So first of all, this wasn't like this wasn't some huge client. This is an educational organization that I work for regularly, whatever. Like, production value was not the most important thing. Of course, 4 PTZs would be fantastic. But you know what? The people who were watching on Zoom had a pretty darn good experience with one little Insta360 link, with a $300 Insta360 link and a $300 Rode Wireless Go. And like, it got the job done. Even the one thing that those little PTZs are not good at, there are probably a number of things, but one of them is Zoom. They have almost zero Zoom. But even in that circle, from me to the other end of the circle, the Zoom was fine. Like, I didn't have to be right up the guy's nostril. It was fine. So for those of you who are looking for Zoom production, yes, you want top of the line, you pay for it and you get it. But you don't have to do that in order to have a quality experience.
What did you do for audio on the people in the circle? How were they heard by the remote people?
The Rode Wireless Go.
I suggest you look into the Jabra. It's about a 12-inch puck. and it's set that in the middle, and it'll far exceed what you're getting from the camera.
No, no, no. Well, the Rode, no, no, no. The Rode Wireless Go are the little tiny wireless
Right.
clip-on. So I took one of those. I taped it to the microphone in the room, and so when
Oh,
someone
all
was speaking, they were talking right into the mic. It was fantastic.
right. That is
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So, but we don't have to dwell on this. I was just sharing it because it was a like easy, less than $1,000, not including the computer. Less than $1,000. We had a really pleasant experience. Really,
So,
and
so David, it actually sounded like you actually had audio in the room from the microphone that they were using already. So
yes,
you could have easily patched into that.
yes. I probably could have. The reason I didn't is I didn't even think about it, is because I don't know this room at all. I wasn't going to be there early enough to find things, and I know Jewish organizations well enough because there's a Jewish organization that there was going to be nobody in that building who knew anything about the system. So if I had questions, it was installed 20 years ago by someone who knew what they were doing, and no one's ever touched it since. So I just decided, you know what, Rode Wireless Go, that gets the job done. So, all right, enough about me. Hey, Hasbuk, how are you? Good to see you. You want to say hi to us?
Yep,
Yeah.
I can. How are you doing?
I'm good. Are you using Mimo Live to do this little
Yeah,
scene
yeah,
that? Yeah, you
yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah.
Very nice, sir.
My very little knowledge of Mimo Live.
Very little knowledge. It's working. It's working. All right, so let's talk Zoom. What is up? What is new? What thoughts or insights or questions have come up since I was, Monday, I was furiously refreshing Zoom, update, 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 and then I looked at the notes and I realized that it was all back end stuff. It was all on the web. So it was completely a waste of my time to have done that. But what did we see? What did we find? What did we play with and like? Anything? Pull up those notes again. Zoom release notes. Oh, sorry. I'll say one other thing. I hopped on a call with someone the other day. This is actually a PC thing. Is this a PC thing? Wait, now I've just lost the question. It is a PC thing. Apparently, when you're screen sharing in a PC, I don't have this setting. You have to change. So you have a setting on PC side that we don't on the Mac side. And it's something about shading. Let me see what I can find. Zoom screen share. Yeah. Okay. I've got it here. Hold on a second. Nope. It's not black screen. It's little gray gray bars. Gray boxes. Did we talk about this? How to eliminate gray boxes?
Use a legacy
again?
operating system or something, right?
It's
In your video processing section.
yeah, there's a setting within Zoom actually.
Yeah.
Here, capture with window filtering. That's what it is. So apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Frank. So that okay, how to access advanced video options? Let me share this. Sorry. So optimize video quality with denoise. That's not it. Use hardware acceleration. Video rendering method. Video rendering. No, none of this is it. What am I? Where is it? There's an option. There's a drop down. I can't show it because I don't see it. But share. And there are also screen capture modes called capture with window filtering. So apparently if you don't have that turned on and you're screen sharing, at least on, oh, it is here. Then you may get black boxes from your Zoom windows, like your Zoom toolbar and stuff like that. Yeah, this method shares your screen without showing windows from the Zoom desktop client.
Well, there's one thing where it doesn't show the Zoom windows, and then, like it doesn't show anything, like shows your picture. And then, I know there's certain times where it shows where the other windows are, but they're black. And I always thought that was kind of things not quite working right. But maybe there's a mode where people want people to know that there's a window open. It just is not sharing the contents of that window.
I think what David's talking about is the way Windows operating system intersects with Zoom. In processing your video, there's a mode where you'll get artifacts when you screen share. You'll get black boxes from the UI. I don't have a Windows machine in front of me. Maybe Mike, if you could go to your, the caret next to video.
Yeah, Mike,
down
it's in settings, not in the screen share.
Yeah. But
okay.
if you click on the where the camera is in your toolbar, if you click on the arrow,
Mm-hmm.
the little arrow, click on that.
Yep.
Click on video settings.
Yep.
When you
Then if you go all the way to the bottom to advanced,
Yep.
I think it's in there. But
it's actually under screen share.
Oh, is it under screen share?
Yep.
Okay. Hold
Share
on.
screen. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
sure.
But it's the advanced menu, right?
It's an advanced menu. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the
I'll send a screen
capture
Yep.
capture mode, right?
Yeah, there's that drop down there. So it looks like there are a few different versions. There's capture with window filtering. Here it is. I got it.
There you go,
Thank you
Dave.
so much, Mike. Yeah, thank you.
Can you screen share there? Rachel?
Yep, I'm gonna bring it up in 1 second.
Yeah, but on a Windows machine.
Oh,
I will, but I sent him the screen share of the advanced section.
Yeah.
Frank.
Okay.
so this is right. So let me hold on. So this is the screen share here, and you can see right here is the screen capture mode, and his is set to auto. So if you were to screen share now something, it's possible, but you have a setup, so it may not be the issue, that if you are on one monitor and you moved your Zoom bar, that we would see that it would create a gray bar or something like that. So you need to change this to capture with window filtering in order to get rid of that, apparently.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can't see your screen, Mike, but I think there's other like legacy operating system or something is one of them as well.
Yes, so I have a few of those here. So these are capture with window filtering, advanced capture with window filtering, which allows for movement if you want to move a window. Advanced capture without window filtering. So this will share your screen, include motion detection, and will show windows from the Zoom desktop client. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. Then there's legacy previous operating systems.
This one fixes problems for a lot of people who have this UI issue as well.
Yeah. Actually, the reason I brought this up was not actually to troubleshoot it here, but it was to give a shout out to Frank and the other folks who participate and help folks so much in the Zoom community, because when I was on with this person, the first thing I did is go to the Zoom community, type in the question, and I found the answer there, which was just fantastic. It really is a wonderful resource that not enough people know about. So if you are on Zoom and on a PC and you're seeing any bars across, gray bars, hit up your video settings, go down. I'm sorry, your screen share settings, go down to advanced, and then turn on window filtering. All right.
And David, what was the use case for this?
This is just if you're on PC and you're sharing your screen, if you don't do that, you will end up with your the Zoom screen share bar showing
Not
up.
always.
Correct, not always.
It depends on a lot of variables.
Yeah. So do you know
Okay.
what? So what is it? A bug, Frank? What's? Do you know? What it is?
This is pretty technical. I'm not sure I completely understand it, but basically, I think what happens is the Windows operating system, your graphics drivers, your video card, and Zoom sometimes don't get along well, depending on which mode you're in and what
That wouldn't surprise me.
circumstances you have, and you'll get UI elements like different parts of Zoom. If you move something around or you open a new Zoom panel, you'll get artifacts on the screen that look like grayed out versions of whatever the thing was, the Zoom element. They don't get displayed properly. So if you go in there, there's some options you can try. It's hard to know because everyone's got different drivers and different graphics cards and what version of Windows are you on. It all conflates and you have to tinker around till you find the right setting.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues, but that doesn't mean I don't share enough. Again, I'm very much like you are, David, where I do everything externally as much as possible.
Yeah.
Just bringing it as a video source.
By the way, I also the person that I was helping, I asked her, I said, all right, go ahead and do a screen share. And she said, wait a second, now what is this layout thing? Where she saw for the first time, she saw that she had these new layout options, which, by the way, I happened to click on a help article today about those. And now there's a big sort of in a different color notice that those layouts are still not available in recordings or in live streaming. So it's just in meeting.
Yeah. I put a link to the support article, I think, yesterday in Discord.
Yeah.
But
that's where I saw it. Sorry.
That's okay. I talked to Zoom yesterday, and I said, when is this going to be available where you can record in these layouts? And they couldn't answer. They didn't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I really want to turn it on for my organization, but
the layouts.
I'm just afraid that people are going to expect the recordings to be the way the layouts look, and then they're going to get cranky when it's not the same.
I think that's fair. I would expect that.
Well, I can't.
I mean, in a WYSIWYG
only Zoom
world,
can fix it, right?
Right. No, but in a WYSI, in a what you see is what you get world, to see one thing and then after the fact to look back at the recording and see something different, I think that would throw a lot of people. Yeah.
So will it show up in a local record?
No.
I don't think so. No.
Because a lot of times, like a local record on things, it's like taking it from the screen. I thought for some things, but
so here's what Frank shared with us. So it says presenter layouts currently do not support local or cloud recordings. Resulting recordings will not have the presenter and layouts combined as seen in the live session. Presenter layouts also do not support live streaming.
The only way I think you could do it is to screen scrape.
Right. Yep. All right. Slowly.
someday I wish there was like a screen scraping class, where you really talked about all the variables, because there's the things where you think you're seeing a screen, and if you go to like capture your screen and you don't get that screen, it's because they kind of hide it within some kind of layers mode that say like Netflix, there's a layers mode that you see the layer on your screen, but you don't see it like if you try to capture it, just so that people understand what's going on with that.
Should we try? Sorry, did you want to jump in?
Oh, I was just going to say something else really quick, because this was kind of brought across as possible Zoom updates, and I just wanted to mention them. Smart name tags and speaker tags that will auto-name participants in Zoom rooms via image recognition.
I went to a presentation on this yesterday about this topic.
Oh, then maybe you might have heard this because you probably were watching the same thing this other person was watching. Also improved multi-speaker views. They're also adding confidence monitors to Zoom rooms and capabilities for companion whiteboards. And I'm not sure what companion whiteboards are.
It's a external whiteboard, physical hardware.
Okay.
Usually a touch screen in the room you can go up to and draw on and do stuff. Promethean, there's other companies that make them.
You saw a presentation that might have included these.
The whole presentation was about that. What you talked about, it was part of a larger presentation, but it was prominently discussed. They were very proud of it. So in a Zoom room, if you have the right settings and everything, there'll be smart tags. So people in the audience who are talking, they'll be tagged if they agree. I think it uses image recognition and AI. It will pop it'll not a full super the way we do in television, like a lower third, but it'll definitely put your name on a tag from a person in the audience who's not even sitting in front of a computer. The cameras in the room will capture them, and they'll put smart tags up. And it also, then in the transcript, if it knows who you are, it tags your name as well. Fred said, or Susan said, or whoever. But I also think you have to agree to it. You have to opt in because there's, privacy. Some people don't want to be tagged or don't agree to it, right? There was a lot of cool stuff though. They had a Zoom room with a tablet, one of those meeting tablets that you put on outside the door, and it shows you the schedule. But then you could log in. They also have like a visitor mode, so you can log in as a visitor. And if the company sets up a badge printer, you can take a shot of yourself, log in. It'll announce through either bots or email or some notification system. It'll tell the designated person you're on location, and you can print your badge from the Zoom room software and carry your lanyard around. And it was pretty amazing. Like, they're really bringing the meeting spaces together.
That's powerful stuff. It's pretty cool. Hey, Lois. Good to see you.
Hello, good to
You
be.
just popped in. It's nice to have you here.
It was a busy day, but I got done early enough. I thought, oh, they'll still be there.
Still, we're just getting started.
Yeah, that's what I figured. You usually go till 2:00.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Is there a topic at the moment?
There are a few topics, but would you like to add one to the mix?
Nope.
Feel free.
No, I'm just wanting to know what's being discussed so that I can get my brain working, thinking.
Well, they were talking about some announcements that came yesterday, or a meeting that was happening yesterday, where they were doing some cool stuff with Zoom rooms. And while they were doing that, I was opening up my virtual backgrounds to try out the new AI virtual backgrounds, but those are not available yet. Just like pretty much everything else in the release notes from the 25th, they're not no AI virtual backgrounds yet. But Frank, talk us through this. We can't hear you if you're talking.
Sorry, rookie mistake. Companion for Zoom rooms was part of the presentation yesterday. So companion whiteboards, like we discussed, multi-camera rooms, confidence monitor. So now Zoom rooms will support even more displays, and one of them can be set as a confidence monitor in room. So confidence monitors, so that presenters can see what's actually going out live on the program feed, in case you get confused what's actually being sent, and different Zoom apps that will support stuff in these Zoom rooms. anyways, it was pretty neat. I don't know what my next slide is, so I can't show it till I look at it. But I don't want to hog the whole meeting about.
Hog, we like this.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So while he's looking at that next slide, I'll just the release notes that. Where is it here? Is this it? Yeah. Every time it says admin control on these release notes from the 25th, that means all they did was kind of add the back end stuff that you needed in the controls and the admin, but it's not available yet. And it looks like it's gonna take a little bit. They're rolling it out slowly, some of these things. Sorry, Frank.
No, okay, I'm interrupting you. Do you mind if I show one more slide?
Please, please, please.
This was an NDA, so I can show this. Intelligent Director is really interesting. So when you have PTZ cameras in the room, Zoom will be able to use AI to figure out what's the best shot or crop or switch cameras, do different things. Sort of like having a technical director picking the shots, but with no human.
That's using the sound, right? It's
yeah, but it's also if you've got multiple cameras, they might track you from multiple cameras and then decide which camera angle or whatever looks best.
The reason I'm asking is because there are really two different ways that this has been done. So one is the Apple camera, whatever, I don't know what they call it, where it follows you, right? So that's based on vision. So it sees you and it just follows you. It tracks
center
you.
Stage.
Yeah, thank you, center stage. The other way is the way that the Owl camera did it. For those of you who remember when the Owl camera first came out, it's this thing you put in the middle of the room, looks like an owl kind of, and it's got a 360-degree camera on top, and it essentially listens, and it also speakers and mics. It listens for whoever's making the most noise, and then it goes to that person. It kind of auto cuts to that person, like Zoom does naturally here in meetings. So this is doing that, but on steroids, because it's not just one camera, it's multiple cameras. It's making decisions, it sounds like, about which is the best shot.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
The next topic we sort of talked about already, the smart tags and the speaker tags, where even if you're just sitting in the audience and you've got the right kind of audio system, if it can hear you and you're the person talking and you've done the preparation, it'll do like the lower third. It'll put your name on screen. That might be a privacy concern for some people. I think there's an opt-out method, and then multi-speaker view, where you can have different meetings. And I think even you know how in virtual, what's it called? Help me out here. You know the virtual where you put everyone in the same space. Immersive view. There's some of that technology as well if you want to employ it.
So this is conference centers and businesses are going to have this in their rooms made available for events and for big meetings to just essentially so that you don't need to hire a TD. Right?
I think some of it's that, and some of it's they're saying that you don't need the big infrastructure that you used to need to. Usually, you need an integrator to come in and build these kind of rooms with all the various technology, and they're starting to do some of the work that traditionally would have been done with a lot of wiring and a lot of different cables and components. I don't know if you know about Biamp or Crestron or AMX or any of those kind of things. The Zoom stuff is going to start to shoulder some of that burden with, you could just bring in a Zoom Room appliance like a Neat bar or a Logitech Rally bar or something like that, and you'll have a lot of the capabilities that previously you would have needed an integrator for. How well it works, time will tell, but I think they're trying to leverage their way into that market as well.
So how does having multiple PTZ cameras, how does Zoom integrate with those? Is there a Zoom Rooms control box that they're all plugged into or something?
It depends on your room. Traditionally, what happens is you have an audio box in the room that has gain thresholds you set that talks to the cameras, and the microphone decides either based on triangulation or sometimes there's a noise gate, the loudest sound in the room. That's where the cameras will pan and tilt to and then take the shot. There's lots of ways to accomplish it. Some of them don't work that well and some do, but
Well, like you were talking about the owl, and like Neat bars also have this feature where you can ask for like individual shots of people, right?
Yeah.
And so like that thing is, it's got its 4K image of everyone, and someone talks, and it has created these focus of different people, and it'll show just them. So that's not so much Zoom doing it, but the appliance doing it, if I'm correct, right? Right.
yeah, yeah. Some other things they talked about yesterday was visitor management, which I talked about a little bit, and then wayfinding. If I don't know if you know that Zoom, if you have Zoom Rooms license, there's stuff about hot desking in there, so you can. It has a whole hot desking management system, and they're also going to have wayfinding, which if you go to the conference room and it has one of those panels outside, and you log in and say you're here, it'll show you a map of the building and show you a dotted line on how to get from point A to point Z. So that was pretty impressive. It's not released yet, but they said it's coming soon.
What's a hot desk?
Traditionally, people before the pandemic used to have their own desk in a building, and you would go to your office and sit at your desk every day, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And after the pandemic, a lot of corporations got rid of a lot of their buildings and properties. So if you have a flexible work arrangement and you only come to work 2 days a week, you may not own your own desk anymore. You'll have to sit wherever. The other time hot desking is used is, let's say you're a big international corporation with buildings all around the world. You fly into a city and you can book a desk in one of your company's buildings. It's not your desk, you're hot desking. It's like, I think it comes from submarines, hot bunking, where you didn't really own your bed on the submarine all the time, where you had to share it with other people.
Thank you.
Yeah, Neat actually talks about hot desking for some of their tools.
Yeah. Hot desking, sometimes also called hoteling. Same idea. You don't own the room, you're just using it, renting it for a night.
It's interesting. I remember when Neat first came out, and I actually would I would say to people, "Oh, this is new. This is new," or it's new to me. So I would say to people, Neat is great if you're doing a frontal sort of experience because it's literally just sitting at the front. And yes, it can find different people and cut them out and create grids of folks like that. But if you're in a circle, this I had not seen before. But this is essentially the owl. Oh, it's not even out yet. It's essentially the owl by them. It's interesting. They're not using one camera. They've got a few different cameras. So what's going on here?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Like if you look at the one that's right by you.
Oh,
like,
it's still showing the frontal version. Okay.
It only
Okay,
has
so
the
here you
one
go.
camera.
Right. But here, when you put it in the center, this is the one that I like.
Yep.
Right. When you put it in the center, you've got all the different, yeah. I didn't know they were coming out with one. That's so interesting. Huh.
But it looks like there must be more than one camera because they have a collection of people all at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. No, it looks like there are 3 cameras in here.
But they
Actually,
had 5 people.
yes. I wonder if it's probably doing a little bit of the fancy stuff that the front camera is doing, though. One camera can capture 2 folks and then split them, and then use AI to split them. That's interesting that they're making one. So yeah, it's here. It actually shows here 360, so 165 or 45. I guess there are different angles that it can grab. Oh, and yes, you could ceiling mount it also, which you can also do from the, with the, what do you call it? The owl. I wonder how the audio is on this, because that was one of the big problems. Oh, that's expensive. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 times almost as much as, not 4 times, at least two to 3 times as much as the owl. It's interesting. In any case.
But you don't have the individual, like having to have individual cameras. It's capturing, it's doing the logic for you to do the kind of grabbing of people. So,
right. Or you could just buy everyone an Ivy. No one has to come into the office, and you're golden.
Here.
Here, here. You're welcome. Ray and John. Oh my goodness. It's so good to see you guys.
Hey there.
John's just recovering from eye surgery.
It literally is good to see you guys, because I see you guys and even better in my left eye. So
Wow.
you look also much better in 2020 than the 2040. What can I say?
You feeling okay?
I'm feeling okay. I still, for the particular condition I had, and not to turn this into an old man show, I had to lie flat for about a week, and there's nothing good about lying flat for a week. So when you get back up again, all those little parts that didn't move like you thought they should. So, but on the mend, and glad to be back here in the kitchen.
Good, good, good. I'm so glad you're feeling better. Good for you.
I got a discovery for you, David.
What's that?
I discovered something called, let me switch to it. This is a mute button.
No, you showed us that last week.
Well, there's an addition to it.
What?
They have,
Mine hasn't come yet. I'm waiting for mine still.
they have this icon, which you can put anywhere. You can put it up on the screen to remind you
Oh, wow. That's
in
nice.
case you don't want it down there. It's a new wrinkle.
That's nice also. Is that, can
So
you
how come-
resize that window?
I can't, because that's the I've just asked them to be able to do that. I can't in Windows. You might be able to do it in Mac.
In Mac.
I'm in Windows, but it's going to be handy if you could put that icon right there in the middle of the prompter or right in front of your face. It's even better.
I completely forgot that I ordered that. Where's my Mute Me? Here it is. A shipment. Where is it? If it's in the other office, I'm going to have to. Oh, it's coming on Monday. Okay. It'll be here on Monday. I'll have it next week. We have all become, thank you, Amazon, for making us the most impatient we have ever been, for making me the most impatient I've ever been. Unbelievable. Ray Harwood, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm on day 8 of my 10-day event. And,
I was just going to ask you, how's it going?
going really, really, really well. We've got over 4,500 people registered. We've had about 3,000 people attend so far. And well into the presentations. Yesterday's day was a little bit different. We had a 5-hour block with students, basically 4 per hour, making presentations, and I had Josh Kaufman with me, and we ran production studio and green room and all that kind of stuff. But most of the others have actually, production studios been run by the volunteers from the 3D-based futures group, and most of them have done an excellent job, and a few of them have needed a little coaching along the way. But I hop in at the beginning and just sort of see who's there and answer questions. And yeah, it's going on really, really well.
So again, this is in Zoom events.
Yes.
And are they using webinars, meetings?
So they used the first day had a meeting where they have what they call the parhiri, and it really is more of an interactive sort of a celebration to the start off an event. But all of the others have been webinars. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
And
And
they've got out on Google Drive run sheets for each session, and it lists who's there, and a producer who does production studio, a moderator who follows up with questions and answers, a chair who comes on and does all of the introductions and kind of making sure that everybody goes there. And they've really orchestrated it really, really well.
that's fantastic.
One thing I'll say about Zoom events, they did let out a new version last weekend, and one of the things that they did put out is if you're familiar with the direct join links, if you have people who not really Zoom events, I don't really want to kind of go into the lobby and find my session. I just want a link that brings me in. Up until last weekend, an individual person with one email address could only have one join link, one direct join link active at a time. You had to kill that one in order to create one for another session. We've got a number of people coming into multiple sessions. And on Saturday, early Sunday, that opened up where we could create multiple links for people. And it really has made a difference because we've not tried to burden people with, you don't really have to go through the lobby in order to get there. He's got close to 140 different presenters. So, and they embed that link in their run sheet on the Google Docs, so that people just have to go to the Google Docs and click their link and they're in. Works really well.
It seems that that's been a pain point for Zoom events, is links and access and the confusion around that.
Well, I mean, there's confusion around it because there's a lot of options. There's the direct join links. When you create your tickets, you can have tickets that are just open access to anybody. You can have group links that you have to be in a certain domain in order to access them. And then you've got paid and you've got free, and you've got no authentication. You've got, we need to make sure you have a Zoom account. So many options, and that's the good news and the bad news. You have to figure out, how locked down do I want the event? Do I want to be able to open the doors and anybody can come in, or do I want someone there that needs your name, rank, and serial number before we'll let you in and scan your credentials before you can get in? But the direct join link has been a big help because there are a number of now software pieces that want to join the meeting as well. I'm trying to use StreamAlive, and StreamAlive could not join a Zoom event because you need to put in some sort of credentials that ZoomAlive could parse out, and they can't just automatically join an event. Well, now with this direct join link, we'll be able to do it once we get to the point where we can make multiples. We want StreamAlive to be in each session. We can give them a direct join link for each of them, and they'll just join up.
Nice. Very nice.
A couple of other exciting things in the latest release as well. Something that was in the February release but didn't come out until just, I think it was Wednesday. It actually came out, is the AI image generation feature. So if you want to put together a quick webinar and you want a splash screen to sort of have some, imagery that centers around your topic, you can go into the AI thing and it uses DALL-E 3 or DALL-E 4 to generate an image for you, and you can go, I like that one, or I don't like it, and pick another one. I'm not a graphics guy. I can do it if I have to, but I prefer not to. And so if I'm just going to throw together something fairly quick, I can do that. And then the other thing that is fairly new, still in beta, but I understand it's going to come out soon, is actually you'll be able to put in your own custom domain. It won't have to go to events.zoom.us to get there. You can put your own domain and build off of that. And I don't know how that works yet. I've asked to be included on the beta. And once I have some information, I can potentially share it with you, depending on how tight the beta is.
Is that like white labeling? Like a white label product, sort of?
Yeah, a little bit. So you'll be able to go, I'll be able to say events.goodclicks.com, and you can go there and land in my hub, and I can put events.goodclicks.com / some other stuff and take you to the meetings and that sort of thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, you can do that now, just
Yeah.
by creating a redirect.
Right. Right. And I've done that as well. But yeah,
Sure.
this will make it a lot easier, and you won't have to do that for everything. You'll be able to create a direct registration link, a direct join links, those sorts of things directly with those. Very cool.
It's funny because I use a URL redirect for my Zoom meetings. Whenever I have Zoom meetings, I just tell people go to, whatever XYZ/Zoom. That's my,
Right.
And people get a little confused by that because they're used
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
US.02 or whatever the heck it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've got zoomevents.goodclicks.com, and if you go there, it'll redirect to the GoodClicks hub.
Exactly
And
right.
yeah.
Nice.
Ray, what was the thing you were concerned about 10 days? That it wasn't going to last for 10 days as you were sweating through
So
scripting this?
out of the box, a Zoom event is maxed out at 6 days. And so we basically had to go to Zoom and pay a little extra money for them to open it up to 10 days. It took a couple of days. It took longer than it should have, but we got it done in time. Yeah, so making a 10-day event is possible, and you just have to have someone help you navigate the waters to get there.
Fantastic.
When you talked about the AI, I'm just kind of wondering, with setting up events and stuff and all your custom graphics, if you could just put in a website, because like a lot of times with an event, the organization that's doing it has already created a website for this event, that it's got some custom graphics on it,
Right. Right.
and where it could just go to that page and it's like, here's a banner for you. Do you accept, like these that are taking stuff off your webpage and making it in the format that Zoom is?
Yeah. I mean, people are already sort of multi-purposing their images that they have on their websites and basically bringing it over into Zoom events and that sort of thing. But this to me is like, a couple of guys get together and go, oh, let's have a thing to talk all about the latest cars on the market. You just kind of go in and type latest cars on the market and get an image, and you can go, no, I want it more with blue tones and some sky in the background, and you can refine it, and it'll continue to generate an image based on what you want until it's you got it the way you want, and then you can put it anywhere really inside Zoom events. There are a few people that are trying to not use Zoom events for their registration and so forth, and I mean, I've got one client who has used a thing called Guidebook for their sort of all their information about their event. They use Wufoo for registration. They use a couple of other things. And I'm talking to them now about using Zoom events next year, and it can all go in Zoom events in one place, and people don't have to learn these other tools in order to get there. They can just come in, look at the resources, and yeah, they might need a little hand holding to find everything the first time. But the second time they go in, they'll know exactly where to look.
Guidebook looks, sorry, I was furiously Googling all the things that you were just talking about.
Sure.
It looks like it's for in like an on-site, at least it's to a certain extent. So it has maps and stuff and
It's kind of hybrid, kind of depending on whether you're going to have something on site. These folks that are, have been my clients since the beginning of the pandemic, she's used it, and you put in all of your speaker names and all your speaker notes, and all of your attendees can have a little entry, and all of the schedule is there, and she actually puts in the Zoom webinar links and the meeting links and all that kind of right straight in there, and they're a very diverse crowd, and some of them catch on to the guidebook thing real quickly, but many of them kind of struggle with it because it's brand new and not as ubiquitous as Zoom. And the notion of this sort of all being in Zoom, the big selling point to them now is becoming the fact that for if you're going to have a pay per attendee account, Zoom event, the maximum you end up paying per person is $2.50 to Zoom, and it can be less if you get more people involved. That's your entire cost. That's the cost of putting in all of the bios and all, they've got the networking piece over on the side. Everybody can have a networking thing and join with each other. You can put in all the resources, all of the PowerPoints and all that stuff for $2.50 a person and not have this extra expense for these other tools. And they're currently charging people a good bit over $100 per person to attend their 5-day event. And I said, what about the notion we could make it more accessible to maybe $40 to $50 a person, and your costs are less, and then you might even have a larger crowd at that particular size. And then the other thing they said, well, but we'd like to offer discounts to students and faculty at various nursing colleges. These are primarily nurses, virtual nursing theory workshop. 5 days. And I said, well, we've got these things called group registrations that if you're in a domain, you can get a special ticket. And we could actually set those up for individual nursing colleges to have their own sort of registration ticket and get, cheaper prices and that sort of thing.
It's pretty cool.
I'm impressed. I mean, I have to tell you, I was in a meeting with Andy and Sam, darn near 2 years ago now, where I really raked them over the coals, and I said, look, if you guys don't do a few things, I'm just like not even going to play anymore. And both the good news and the bad news is, every month they've got something new and they've got other things, and yeah, there's a little bit of churn in there, but the fact is that the Zoom Events tool has really come a long way, and I'm enjoying working with it. And the people that are coming to the events now are very much used to, how to operate within the space. The expo still is kind of a piece in work, and some of the things that I've heard in a couple of the Zoom-led discussions is kind of like, well, yeah, we know it's not the greatest, and the sense that I've gotten from a couple of them is, we might not do a whole lot more to try and make it more attractive, which was kind of sad to me. But then it also tells me that maybe they've got somebody else that they're looking at that you could host the Zoom Expo separately. And that, they acquire companies all the time and go, we like your technology. So that to me would be great, because I think there is an opportunity there with the expo. The New Zealand folks are not using the expo, but they have what they've relabeled as partners, the people who have donated money. And there's a list of all of them. Each of them have their own square, and you can click on it and still go get information from them, even though they don't have people live there to answer your questions in an exposition hall sort of a fashion. But that exhibitor page has everybody on it and all of their information. And the people that have donated money have made comments about, I see people are going to our page and grabbing our information because we're getting calls from them. So yeah.
Nice. You know what else has sort of gone unnoticed or underutilized is huddles. You don't remember huddles? I'm actually in here looking. I can't even find them anymore. I don't even know where they went. Oh, huddle management. There it is. Yeah, they kind of just stopped. I mean, I haven't heard anything about it.
Okay, David, what's a huddle?
Oh, we did this already.
Yeah, I know, but a brief description.
A huddle is a persistent Zoom, I don't even want to call it a meeting, a Zoom experience. So it just kind of lives on your screen all the time, and you can jump into different rooms with different people, and they kind of, it's out. I mean, you can do it. I have it in my account here. You can only do it with people in your account. Yeah. I mean,
So it's like mini meetings for committees and that sort of thing, right?
yeah, but it's not. Yeah, but it's not really meetings. I mean, it's although it's growing, it's getting a lot of the functionality of meetings, but it's a persist. I don't know how to describe it. It's just persistent. It is meetings. But it's sort of like it's more like breakout rooms than meetings. Actually, it's like persistent. Your entire work experience, your office is the meeting, and then there are just all these breakout rooms that kind of exist that you can invite people into and meet in and things like that. And there's the Zoom support, Huddle support page from Ray. Thank you over there in the chat. So what else are people playing with and doing and having fun with and all of that? I have not used Scheduler. Sorry.
Have you used the clips anymore?
Oh,
You know,
sure. Yeah, I use this all
finding
the
that
time.
that's
Yeah, I do this. This is whenever I find a bug in a piece of software.
Me too.
Yeah, not for Zoom, I mean, for other software that I'm using.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'll create a clip real quick of the problem and send it to them. So, yeah. It's just for me, it's I'm not sure it's any better than Loom or any of the others, but it's just super, I know Zoom so well, it's sitting on my desktop. It's super simple. You use it, Ray, to send Zoom its own bugs?
I've done it for a couple of things, but yeah, primarily for Zoom of hey, here's a thing that's not working, and you can't record what you're doing in a meeting.
Correct.
But you can record what you're doing on the web portal, and it's sort of web portal things that don't work pretty easy to do. And once you get the handle of pausing it while you change to another screen, because now I want to compare how that worked with how this works. You can pause it and change your screen without kind of looking like you're fiddling around, and then unpause it and do those sorts of things. So yeah, I've done it a bit.
And as Frank has reminded us that these recordings will all count toward your storage at Zoom. And so, the good news for me at least is that now that I've made these and shared them, I absolutely do not need them anymore. So, I should remember to get rid of them though.
But they're not that large, David.
Oh, no. I mean, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, 32 seconds. Absolutely. Yeah. But if you're doing it nonstop, then I guess they would add up.
So what is
My
the advantage-
recording, sorry, go ahead.
So what is the advantage of making a clip instead of turning on a one-person Zoom meeting and recording it for yourself?
I think the one part of the clips is its media management and collaboration tool that you can make a clip and then others in your organization would just have access to that and then they can collaborate with it further.
Yeah, you could do it with you could do it with a meeting, but then you have to make sure that you share it with them. You have to send them the share link, and they might have to do some other things to kind of get to it. But I found clips once you basically just say, I want anybody with the link to be able to see it, they can see it, and it's easy with a link. So
I'm not sure that you could absolutely just open a meeting. You could. I just think Clips is a much simpler interface. If your primary goal is to screen capture something, that's what this is about. This is not about videoing yourself, although you can do that. It's primarily about screen capture. So you say I want to create a clip, and then you get this little guy here, and you can choose your desktops. So just like you get this very familiar share screen or share options, you can choose what desktop you want to share. Select, and then I can say, do I want to have it? And here I can make this bigger. How do I make it bigger so you all can see it? Oh, that's something else. Sorry. So these are the different options. So there's video only. There's video with. Sorry, I don't have a. Let me change my camera so you can see. Oh, I don't even have a camera in here, do I? Do I have a camera? I don't even know if I have a camera. Oh, there we go. Okay. So you can have a camera down here, and then your screen share, or you can have. I'll go back to this. Or you can have just the screen share, or you can have just the camera. So generally what I do, because if I'm just submitting a bug, no one needs to see me, I keep it on this. Just make sure your audio's set. I don't even turn the camera on. Start recording. You get a countdown. You get a 3, 2, 1 countdown. And this is what it's recording because that's what I told it to record. Let me bring over this. This is also going, so I can mute myself, pause, cancel, finish. As soon as I finish that, it's gonna write in my Zoom client. It's gonna open it up. I can edit it here. I can slice it, anything like that. And as soon as it's done, by the way, I should actually go back to that. This is something I'd like to see. So this is where it brings you when you're done. What I'd like to have is a button that says, you know, yay, you did it. Or done, or like the only way to get out of this is to click up here at the top to go back to clips, or you could click up here, I guess, but this is sort of the way out. But once you've done this, you click that button and now you can just share it. Boom, done. So I think it's supposed to be easier. I think that's the big selling point.
And this is available to everyone, or do you have to have a certain, do you have to pay them a lot of money for your?
Well, a little bit of both. It is available to everyone, but in a very limited way. I don't remember exactly, what is it? 3 or 5 a month, and each 2 minutes or something like that. What's does anyone remember the? Let's see. Clips. Zoom clips. Limits. Maximum of 5 clips can be created in the account. Each individual clip can be up to 2 minutes in duration. I believe that's monthly. And if you want to get rid of that, then you pay. And I want to say it's 50,
Well,
60 bucks.
It's included in the Pro account, correct? That limitation is only for Basic and Legacy Premium?
Oh, no, I thought, sorry, hold on, let's see. Zoom One Pro and higher, the following items apply. No, for Basic and Legacy Premium, right now I'm not sure. I thought it was just.
So I think the Zoom One Pro is unlimited clips, no clip duration limit, and access to the advanced features. And if you are Basic or what that old Premium was, that's when you're limited.
Oh,
yeah, the free
I'm
column
sorry.
says clips.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's included in Pro. I'm sorry. I thought it was just Business and higher. It is included in Pro, which is great. If you're on a Basic plan, if you're not paying, then you have to pay for clips. Let's see how much it is. Does it say down here? Yeah, here it is. 5 included.
So the add-ons are probably down below.
I'm seeing something that says $6.99 per month.
Here it is. Yeah, $6.99 per month. Yep. And annually, the discount is $69.90. So 70 bucks. It's not cheap, but it's a nice little feature. So
That's half the cost of a Pro membership. You might as well get the Pro membership and not be limited to 40 minutes. You know?
And get that and a few other things included also. Yep.
Of course, many meetings I wish were not longer than 40 minutes. I kind of like the, got to be done.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned before that I've told, I mean, I work with religious organizations, but I've told everyone I've worked with, I've said to them, you should all have at least one free Zoom account. You should all have a pro account also, but you should also have a free account, and all of your meetings should be run on the free account. So to force them to end after 40 minutes, because meetings should not go longer than 40 minutes. Programs, learning, all that other stuff, that's fine, but meetings, 40-minute max.
Well, I'll inject real quick, Dave. Yesterday, in our marathon session, 5 hours, 1 hour each, and in each hour we had between 2 and 4 presenters. They were using something new to me called the Pachacucha format. Anybody heard of that? I hadn't heard of it before. It's not really Maori. Apparently, it was invented somewhere in Japan, I believe. But you get 20 slides and you get 20 seconds per slide. And so you get 6 minutes and 40 seconds and you're done. And everyone puts their PowerPoint or whatever they're using to automatically advance their slides every 20 seconds. And they talk a mile a minute, but they get their points down to the subtle, what they need to say. And every 7 minutes, we had another presentation start. And so that took the first half hour. And then we put 15 minutes of breakout rooms where people could go in and talk to the presenters. So yeah.
That sounds like it would be really hard on the audience.
I love this.
Oddly enough, the audience really likes it because your general 1 hour and on my next slide, bores them to tears. And here they're getting in 6.5 minutes. You get, hi, my name is, I'm at this university, blah, blah, blah. My concept is, and they go right on through it. And you pay attention intently for 6.5 minutes.
But then you only have 30 seconds to rewrap your brain around the one that's coming up next. I'd rather have a minute and a half or something like that to transition.
It normally took a little bit longer to get the next person in and get their slide share up. But yeah, the goal was to get the 4 out of the gate and then have the breakout rooms to be able to come in and engage in more conversation. They were well attended. We did use the breakout rooms in the webinar format and allow people to pick and choose where they wanted to go. It worked out really well.
When we did
Hopefully
it for
you
a number of
recorded
our
that.
workshops, even the presenters liked it better because they got their point out and then they went into breakout rooms, and the people who went into the breakout room were the people who really wanted to ask questions and be there. So it was a good sorting, not only for everybody hearing everything, so there was that common experience and very focused, but then you could be more in depth. It is wearing if you do a lot of them in a row, I'll tell you.
And then we would basically start the next one at 30 minutes past the hour, and so there's a little decompressed time before you're going to hear the next 2 or 3 or 4. Yeah.
I have fallen in love. This is the best idea ever. Pechakucha, by the way, stands for chit chat. Not stands for, sorry. It means apparently it's a storytelling format. I mean, it's just the presentation that's 6 minutes and 40 seconds. You can have a whole conversation about it and question and answers and oh my, that's really
well, to me, it's a little reminiscent of like the poster session that you have at a conference or something like that, where people put up a 4x8 poster or whatever size it is, but then they have stuff in 12-point type. And so the first thing you have to do is you have to go up and you have to read their entire poster. And I would tell people, look, use tall type, get your points across, and then have people engage you in conversation. And don't overload them with the information that you worked so hard to create. Tease them.
At this event last night that I was doing, we were running late because we had opened it up. We had 40 people, and we did, because all of the Zoom sessions were very frontal. We had 2 or 3 speakers and myself. We and we didn't let other people speak. They could ask questions, but they weren't speaking. We were very intentional for this one that we wanted people's voices. So of course we ran long because people went on and on and on. And the last person to speak was one of our teachers, actually, and he didn't stop. He just didn't stop. And I have no idea what he said. It was so painful. This would have been just a really good tool to use for that. Even just without the slides. Just say to people.
And I have to say, some of the people actually had slides that were just pictures related to their content.
Right.
They didn't really have any information on it. So you really could focus on what the speaker was saying. There was one person that made the comment of, I'm more of a visual learner. I would have liked to have had some words up there, even if it was just a sparse number of words, to give my brain something to focus on while you were speaking, as opposed to the picture. So I don't know.
So for anyone who's wondering, for anyone who's wondering how long 20 seconds is, we're just gonna, because it actually, 20 seconds is kind of a long time. You can say a lot of stuff in 20 seconds. I'm halfway through and I have nothing else to say. It's just like, you really can get a lot said. And, I know that when, sometimes I'll watch, on YouTube videos, the countdown from a commercial. And it's fascinating to me to see how much is left in the commercial. How much of the commercial do they squeeze into that last second? And there's a lot. They go right up to the edge of that timer. In any case.
So here's a question for y'all. How long does it take to unload the dishwasher and put the dishes away? I go in and I heat up something that I'm going to eat for 1.5 minutes. I can unload an entire dishwasher in that. But would you believe that it was that short a time? We have interesting things in our brain that say, oh, well, this is going to take me 5 minutes. That's actually going to take you 1 minute. And the other word.
Right, the other way, because we love hearing ourselves talk. And so I'm just as guilty as the next person. Put a microphone in front of me.
I know. What does dishwasher unloading have to do with Zoom? Well, it's all in our brain.
Zoom unloading.
It's all about planning. That's what it is.
It's all about planning and knowing how to be flexible. Knowing how to be flexible so that when your plans go off the rails, you're able to twist and turn with them and get things back where they need to be.
Well, and I think a part of that also is also having a process. I've got 3 racks in my dishwasher, and I go for the top rack first. My wife goes, you should get the bottom rack first, because if you pull out the middle rack, you're going to spill water on the bottom. No, I've got a process, and I could do it quickly. And the same thing with a lot of Zoom things. I have a process in my head, and I follow that. I have a process for screen sharing that I just teach people regularly, and the ones that follow that process don't have any trouble, and ones that don't follow it usually need some coaching. Right, Ray?
Ray left you. I had to jump out.
He's gone already.
So what else is on people's minds? I'm actually going to pass it to Mike to facilitate for 2 seconds while I take a quick bio break. Speaking of dishwashers and water.
Uh-oh. See, Lois? You started it.
I always start something, don't I?
I know. But we wouldn't expect you to do it any other way, as David would say.
I do appreciate, by the way, someone wrote to me and told me my microphone was low. Well, that's because I swing it away when I'm not using it, and I always forget to put it back. So how is the best way when you're in a meeting and someone has that problem? What do you think is the best way to do it? Just blurt it right out? put it in the chat, hope they'll read it. Maybe they won't. How would you handle that in a Zoom meeting?
All right, let's go around the room. James, what do you think? Oh, there we go. So it's a visual. Okay.
Giving it to me or to someone else?
You know, I don't know.
I know my infamous go-to is that when anybody on the panel do it, I usually flick my ear and actually give the hint if somebody's actually seeing me visually instead of me actually blurting out and actually saying your mic is off. But that's usually my little tip is some sort of visual similar to James. Right? What do you think?
I'm a chat guy. Because most people that I work with, I mean, they're very focused on just talking about their stuff. And especially if they're looking at the gallery view of a whole bunch of people, like it's a big meeting, you don't know who's doing what and who's, are they picking their nose or are they scratching their ear or what are they doing? But if something pops up at the bottom that says, your volume's low, they'll go, oh. But yeah, some people won't see that either. So what can you do?
Right, right. And Ray, did you run into that this week with any of the presenters?
No, we did have one person who it was her time to speak and she didn't unmute and just didn't unmute. And so we basically unmuted her. I put the little, your host would like you to unmute and we asked her to start over. But I mean, it was 20 seconds before anybody really kind of got her attention. They're like, we need you to hit the little button, turn your microphone on, and start over.
Yeah, the one neat thing that Zoom actually should come up with is, and again, of course, it does actually come up in the middle of the screen saying if you want to talk, the unmute. I know I do have that on PC. I don't know if that's on Mac, but there is that unmute little window that notices that your mic is talking, but you haven't unmuted yourself. But how many people actually pay attention to that becomes the question of the day. Frank, any tips? Because I know that this would happen in the education space probably quite a bit.
I don't know. It really depends on the meeting and the people and my context in the meeting, if I'm the host or just a guest or something. Sometimes I'll send a private text message and other times I'll just work it into the conversation.
And for me, I know how frustrating it can be to forget to unmute yourself when you go talking away and just nothing. So I figure the least disruptive that I can be is if someone forgets to do that and they start moving their mouth and they're not looking off like they're talking to the wall. I will simply say microphone. Oh, microphone.
Interesting. John, you haven't piped in. What do you think? You've run into that as well or no?
Oh, of course, and it varies when it's my meeting or the group that we're working with. We really want people to, just like you say, if you got, a spot on your shirt or something, you just sort of look in the mirror. You want, if there's something that's not right, you would want your friend to tell them that because you're presenting. So in our meetings, it's sort of the culture is, if we can't hear you, or if you're not too loud or you're too loud, any of those things, we just say it. But when I'm supporting a meeting, it really depends on who the speaker is. And my first go-to is doing a chat. But usually if it's a presenter, I encourage them to have a chat window open in case we do need to reach to them. But for some people, it's hard to get their attention when they're in a role. So you might have to break into the event.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. That makes a lot of sense. Everybody,
I do have this coffee cup, and
there we go.
And maybe I need to get more with different logos on them or something. Your volume's too low, your volume's too high, or please turn your camera on. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. John's showing everybody. I don't know. John, say something so we can hear you and see them. on YouTube.
The sign guy. John's the sign guy.
Yeah, this
those-
came from the early days of COVID, and we made these up at the university. And this was particularly when the students were not really used to it. So it's a little sign, please mute, unmute, and then I hear you versus, and then we did the applause and clapping. And somewhere here, I have a blank one, which was do it. Yeah, here it is. This represents my thoughts early in the morning.
All right.
I will say, quite honestly, Lois, having done events in person and being the audio video person, and person doesn't speak in the mic or whatever, it's very simple. You turn on your mic or whatever, you're not disrupting them because they're not actually talking, so just go mic is absolutely, yeah.
And understand that most of the times I'm in meetings with a group of people, and they're not huge things, and they're not webinars, and there's not a present, it's just a bunch of folks. And so I think people appreciate getting a little nudge when they forget something.
And that's what I tell the presenters, with the groups that I'm, working with is, look, people are here to hear what you have to say, and we're not making, $40 million production with 100 million people watching on TV all over the country. They're here to listen to what you have to say. And if we've got something that, we need to interrupt you with, we will, but in general, we won't, because we don't want to break your train of thought. But they're appreciative when you go, gosh, could you turn that light off in the back? We can't see your face. People want to see your face. I don't do the Ray Franklin thing for most of my presenters, because I don't have, high-end professional people, but I do say people want to see your face so they can connect with you and see your emotion while you're talking. Yeah.
And then there's David.
And then there's David.
What did I do?
What did I do?
What did I do?
What did I do? No, we're just talking about how do you get a person's attention when they're speaking and don't actually take Zoom up on their fact that they're actually talking, and it says unmute your mic if you want to be heard.
One of the challenges with, I wouldn't want Zoom to change this, but it's very easy to miss chat messages, I think, in Zoom. And so short of doing this, and screaming into the mic, chat is the only built-in way to really get folks' attention. And again, I don't want them to change it because I don't want chat to be more intrusive, but it's very easy for people to miss. And so the other day I was doing something and we needed the person to record. And I just kept typing record, hoping that they would see one of the pop-ups that it generated. I don't know how else to get their attention.
In Zoom, can an individual choose to not have those pop-ups? Is that an option for an individual?
Now, Lois, just to make sure that we understand, the pop-up you're talking about is the one that actually comes up in the middle that says, if you want to be heard, unmute your mic.
Talking about, he was saying he kept typing into chat, and if you don't have your chat window open, there's a little pop-up at the bottom next to the word chat. But is that always there? Does it depend on which device you have? Is it something you can opt out of?
With Windows, Lois, right next to the chat, and I think also on the Mac, there's a little caret up arrow to get to another small menu that says Show Chat Previews, and you can turn that off so that those previews don't come up for you.
So
Right, which
David
means
could
that
be
they would-
doing that. David could be doing that for hours, and they wouldn't see it if
Right,
that
right,
turned off.
right.
Hide meeting window, no. So I have my meeting
So,
chat open.
Yes, right. So where you have the big on the bottom, David, where the actual big chat button is, there's a little up
No, but
arrow
I
there.
don't have a big chat button. It's in my more menu.
Mute,
Oh.
stop video, participants, chat. That's the one I'm looking for. Where
No,
you
I
can
understand, but I
find-
don't have the, like, there's
Try-
no caret next to it because it's in my more menu.
Can you
Huh.
try making the window wider so you get out of the 3 dots?
I could, but I'm curious how to reach it, how to access it. If,
I know on PC, Ray, you can correct me. I'm seeing it. I see it right beside the Q&A. But again, it depends on the layout that you've customized to, David, for the meeting.
no, I see it. So, right. So I see now that I extended my window and I see the chat and I see the little caret. And when I smush it down, it obviously goes away. I don't know how you, I don't know
David?
how you.
It's in the 3 dots. I'm on a Mac.
Just below chat.
Just below
Yeah.
chat, it says show chat preview.
In the 3 dots?
Yeah.
Yep.
When you if you
Make your window smaller again so that there's the more menu.
Oh, I see. It's not part of chat. It's okay. Here's what, sorry, let me show this for folks. So, okay. By the way, here's another question. While we're doing this we could think about these. You cannot reorganize these down here yet, I don't think, which
No.
I would like to. Like, you know, if I know that I'm not going to need notes, I'd love to move that and put chat so that when I have this down like this, smaller, I can have the things that, oh, in any case. So when I open it up, obviously I've got chat and I've got this thing here, and then I've got show chat previews. So if I turn that off, what that means is it's going to turn off the in-meeting chat preview that I get, but those, will I still get alerted some other way? Let me turn that off. So can someone chat me?
I did.
Yeah, so I got, the only way that I saw that was through in the meeting, the chat window that I have going on up here, which I always open by default. But actually I have a Stream Deck button set up so that when I'm joining a meeting, it turns my lights on, starts the meeting, makes my thing full screen, opens my participants panel, opens Zoom chat. It just all happens. So here's that. So when I make this smaller though, sorry, we're getting back to my original problem now. Make it smaller, I don't see chat here. So now I've got, where is it? Chat. And then this is what was hidden in their show chat previews. So that's how I turn that on.
It's not really hidden, is it?
No, I meant, sorry, I don't mean hidden. I mean, it's just, it's when this is expanded, it's hidden, not in a bad way, in here. You have to click on that. When it's not expanded, it's listed as if it were one of the main things at the bottom.
Because they don't do submenus in
Understood.
the 3
Yeah.
dots.
Yeah. No, understood.
If you look at your other things, you'll find other places where you get the same thing,
Yeah.
like record on this computer, record to the cloud. If
Right.
if you don't have 3 dots, those are options in the record button that you push and it comes up with options.
Gotcha. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
And in fairness, David, I would call the one in that more menu hidden in plain sight. It's the sort of thing that we don't see. It's there, but we don't see it because we're expecting it somewhere else.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
And
So I
you'll
guess
notice,
that's how you would sort of mute it, Lois, if you wanted to.
so you'll notice that no matter how narrow you make your window on the screen on a computer, you will never get mute or stop video in 3 dots. Never.
Mhm.
They're always down there, which means their caret pop-up menus are always down there too.
Yeah. Well, those are the only two things that truly you couldn't live without.
But they are also one of the hardest things for newcomers to understand. A lot of people I talk to don't even see those little carets next to the mute and next to the stop video. They don't even know that there is such a thing until someone teaches them.
And when you tell them to look for the caret, they're wondering why you're inviting them to a salad bar.
Well, it's because my bunny lives in the house and really, really likes carrots.
Yeah. And by the way, all of these things, finding all of these things on mobile is also a whole different experience in many ways. Things like renaming yourself on mobile. It's not hard to do. You just, if there's a Hebrew saying that says "Hamevin Yavin," which means those who get it, get it. Like if you know, you know. It's one of those things. If you know how to change your name, you know how to change your name. If you don't, you're never going to figure it out on your own.
I would like to say welcome to Roland and John Drinkwater because they've joined us recently and we haven't spoken to them yet.
John looks different every single week. He's like in a different office or a different setup every single week, John.
Maybe it's a hot office.
I have too many cameras.
And
I also have a funny wall where I can make it change color.
And is your camera breathing or are you? No, it's breathing. Yeah.
No, it's trying to. I'll tell it to stop.
Yeah. Is that an Insta or a?
That's an Insta.
Yeah, an Insta. Yeah. We started today with me talking about I used an Insta for a meeting last night. Love it. Just love it. And yes, hi Roland. Really good to see you here. Really, really good. What's doing with you, John? Anything?
Yeah, I would like to put my developer's hat on and say, Frank, I've got some good news from the world of Zoom developers. And that is Zoom is now implementing a fragmentation of authorization. That's not how they explain it, but I'm trying to explain it in a way that will make sense for everybody else. So instead of
that's
having
just so you know, for the rest of us, that still didn't make any sense.
Okay.
Just so you know.
but this will be you can quote this to other people as if you know what you're talking about. So what I'm really talking about is that Zoom apps, I'm breathing in. Zoom apps have traditionally, when they've started, like any other app, you have to give permission. And basically there was give permission, don't give permission. It was as bland as that. But they are now at Zoom sitting down on a desk with a pair of scissors and they've cut up all the various things that you may want to be able to get out of Zoom, the information about the people and all the data, and they've chopped it up into little boxes. And now when you create an app, from now on, as developers, when you create a new app, you will have to declare which of those. So it's a bit like Facebook was and Apple was and Google was on apps. You will get a list of the various things that you're allowing entrance into, which means that app developers now can start being a bit more polite and only asking for access to the data they need access to, which should mean that certain apps would be able to run in corporate environments because there are plenty of apps out there that don't need all the personal information of the people to run their app. And if they stopped asking for that data, then they might find that more users would want to use it because they're openly not having access to that data. And I've been looking at apps in a whole new way as well. And I think there are quite a few apps out there that could, how can I put this? Use local data storage where the app is so that they could be installed on a corporate network, be able to take that short-term data, like maybe the users in the meeting, store it locally on that computer, delete the information afterwards, and they would therefore not have access. The home company would never have access to that personal information ever. That is quite possible. It may take a bit of, mentioning this, name dropping or threatening to write a competitive version, but there are now the opportunity for apps to write in-meeting apps that use data that's needed in the meeting but is not needed after the meeting, and they could use local data sources to store it locally somewhere where it's not kept for the future, and therefore that would make those apps much more secure in the corporate environment or in the medical environment or anywhere else where there are public data concerns. So Zoom app developers, I look forward to your more secure apps.
I've been working with, I haven't been doing anything, but there's a team that's been working to integrate Zoom. I guess they created a Zoom app, and now they're trying to integrate that into a WordPress site. I don't pretend to understand anything that they're doing, but it has been a real burden trying to figure this out. There's you have your app credentials over here, and then you have to, this is where you put them in, and then, but there's like something broken because I go into the Zoom meeting portal and then everything just goes blank. I don't, there's something wonky going on that's way above my my pay grade here. But
it depends what computer language you write your app in, and it depends where that program is running.
Yeah.
So if it's running on the creator's infrastructure, then obviously the data that they collect is on the creator's infrastructure.
Well, no, this
you're using one of these more JavaScript.
WordPress.
If it's WordPress and it's therefore running, I assume in a JavaScript type of way, then that data is going to be stored within that WordPress site. So then it's down to the it's down to the data security on that particular site.
Yeah, but that's good news. It's good news for Zoom apps. Do you develop yourself, Sean?
I develop enough to know what's possible and not possible, and yeah, I try and encourage other developers to do it because I'm not doing it full time. But yeah, if there's a bit of code that's needed, I can write WordPress plugins. I can do a little bit of code, and I'm learning a little bit of code over there. And I've been doing some AI stuff and other exciting things. But it's more to understand the issues behind the code and try and encourage other people to do it. Did you want to chime in, Frank?
Yeah, along the same lines. That's interesting, and thank you for sharing that. Let me lower my hand. Do you mind if I share my screen real fast? So in the Zoom app marketplace, as an administrator, if you go to a specific app, I don't know, let's pick on ZoomOSC, and you want to add users for your organization to your account, you can set it up for all users, or you can set up for specific users, or if you're using groups, you can add specific groups, which is a nice management feature that I don't recall existing before. But it's
you think
it's
that's
a good
new,
idea?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was basically it's a little cleaner now, I think.
Nice.
Yes, that's all. Thanks.
Great.
Well, our top Zoom admin, we were talking to him just the other day, and because he was mentioning like he could just make it per person on apps, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Can you give me ZoomISO and ZoomOSC and Zoom Cuts?" And then I was thinking, oh, but those are clients, so maybe they don't work with the apps. But since I saw them in your thing, that maybe still work for me. So
Zoom Cuts is a completely separate client. It's not an app. I mean, the three of them are not. None of those three are Zoom apps, but they connect to your account.
Right.
So,
and so that's what I'm seeing. Like on his interface, it showed it. So even though they're separate applications.
Right.
Yes, but they talk to the Zoom API. So there's two Zoom APIs. There's the video API and there's the data API. That's the simplest way to think of them. So the data API you can change. You can spotlight people, unspotlight them. It's the one that sends commands to Zoom, and then the video API is the one that does the video feeds. And all apps have to talk to those two because you have to talk to Zoom. Now, when you think about ZoomOSC, effectively you've got an app created by Zoom, which is talking to the Zoom API and giving you a more friendly way that other apps can then talk to it. So you've got two levels of communication to get to Zoom. But the thing that Zoom's trying to do now is to say, okay, well, just like, when Facebook first brought out apps and Google first brought out apps, there was lots of apps going in and they were taking your email addresses, all these games, wasn't there, on Google? They were taking your games and they were taking your email addresses. So Zoom is now going down to the same path of saying, okay, well, these are the things you're allowed to do. Tell me, Mr. App, which of these functions do you need access to? And it may be that Zoom will not grant you access as an app in the future. By the way, there's another year that the existing apps can keep going. May not grant you access in the future. If you say that you're doing a drawing app and you say, oh, I want all this data, which has got nothing to do with what your app needs. So they may say, well, that's not acceptable. We're not going to give you access to that bit. And what you said about handing powers down, there's also a hint, and I haven't had it described too well, but this will obviously be useful as well, that they are saying that they will give the ability to hand some of these powers down, so it's not up to the Zoom administrator at the very top to have to be responsible for knowing all this and doing all this. They will be able to hand down some of those access privileges further down into the organization. But this is only just happening, so it's only just building. But they've drawn a line in the sand now. New apps have to start running by these rules. Existing apps, I think, have a year now before they will have to either rewrite or will stop working.
Thank you. And Roland has also pointed out that ZoomCut's ISO are both Mac only. Is OSC Mac only? No, it's not. Okay.
No.
But the video is.
Interesting that ISO is and OSC isn't.
The technical answer, it's the code to talk to the videos. They developed it on the Macintosh. And if you did it on Windows, it would be completely different. That's why it's limited.
Gotcha. Anything else going on, folks? We're about at the bewitching hour.
I missed some of it. David, did we cover the, I don't know what we're calling it, Zoom Sessions Minor?
Zoom Sessions Minor? No.
I don't think we touched that.
I think we mentioned it last week, but go ahead, bring it up. What are we talking about here?
Well, there's a little bit more. It's now available if you're running a Zoom Sessions event. And again, keeping it simple. If you're running a Zoom Session event and you don't need all the bells and whistles, there is now a cut down version of Zoom Sessions that you can register. So when you go to Zoom Sessions,
webinar,
you set up an event.
Essentially just webinar in Sessions, right?
It's a webinar with the pretty things added. I think that's probably the best description.
Right.
So production studio, backgrounds, things like that. But
Right.
ticketing, no. So that's sort of where it is trying to sit.
Does it have backstage?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
And I don't think they've closed my loophole yet that you can run backstage on a webinar if you've got studio running at the same time. But I have been told very clearly, John, this is not going to continue. I have been told. David, you're looking intrigued.
Well, no, I'm trying to find the information about this. So Zoom
I wish
events
they
and
had
webinars.
backstage for meetings. That would be awesome.
I would love that.
I'm a little bit concerned from a money point of view that by announcing this version of cut down Zoom Sessions, they may be drawing another line in the sand between what they're going to let you get away with in webinar and what they're going to expect you to upgrade to get the other features. So that may be another thing that they're doing here.
I'm not even seeing the option for that though. Anyone know where to find
when you
that?
create a new Zoom session?
No, but so
That has to be in advance.
it's not
Yeah,
a
it's not
different...
a separate product and it's not a cheaper version. It is a feature in Zoom Sessions. Yes, sorry.
Okay, thank you. No,
I'm
no,
being
that makes
as
sense.
vague as they were when they announced it. Sorry, that's naughty.
Gotcha. So, and just so people know, Zoom Sessions for $100 attendees is $1,000 basically for the year.
And Zoom sessions, you for 100 users, you can currently, and again, I'm threatened. It's been threatened. It's going to be taken away, but you can currently just subscribe monthly.
So it's pay per attendee.
No.
Is what?
No. Zoom sessions, 100 seats. I am paying month by month, and they haven't stopped me being able to leave.
No, correct. You still, that's still an option up here on the payment page also.
Yeah, but if you go to the next level, you have to buy an annual. So that's the difference. With Zoom sessions and events, if you go for 100 seats, you can pay monthly. If you go to the next level up, you have to pay annually.
Yep, there you go. Right.
But at least that means that if you want to play with it, you want to learn it, you want to do small groups, you can get 100 sessions license, which is good value. 100 sessions is 700, I think.
Well, it's 100 attendees.
Yeah.
For $100.
The terminology that Zoom uses is unlimited, contrasting to pay per attendee.
Yeah. So you can run any event you like. Sorry, shouldn't use the word event because it's confusing. You can run any Zoom sessions meeting that can't use the word meeting either, can you? It's confusing this. You can run any Zoom session for up to 100 attendees as many times as you like during your month for that monthly fee. So if you're running small groups, it's fantastic value. If you're in the world I'm in where they say they can have 80, 90 and then 130 register, you can't do that. So if you go over 100, you've got two options. You either buy the vouchers effectively and you pay per person turning up to an event, and that's a one-time token for one meeting. When it's spent, it's gone. So if you hold 5 meetings of 100 people, you'd need 500 tokens to run that. And it's the same for events, except the tokens are more expensive and the features are better. If you want to run over 100 and have unlimited, then you have to commit to the whole year, which I think is $3,500 for Zoom sessions off the top of my head. And that will give you then the ability to run unlimited number of Zoom sessions for that license level. But if you go above your license level, you have to flip over to the tokens. And you can't top up one with the other. You have to be one or the other. You can't top up you can't have 100 seats and then top up with tokens. And then, of course, it gets even more complicated if you go to Zoom events, because the Zoom events, you can run multiple Zoom meetings and webinars in the same event. But, of course, you're going to have to make sure you've got the licenses for all the things you're going to run, because you can't have Zoom events for up to 500 people and then have 3 different webinars running at the same time if you haven't got a license to run webinars. You've got to get all your licenses all in the row. And for Zoom events, it's the number of people in the event that's your limiting factor. But for most people, the limiting factor is the number of people registered. Because just to finish the point, for those that then get more people turn up and they've got tokens, there is a ability for you to allow it to overrun, but then you have to pay penalty tokens to make up for the people that turned up that you didn't want them to turn up. So you either limit yourself to the number of people who book on and then you're under control, or you take the risk and you say, okay, 120 people have booked on, but I'm expecting only 90 to turn up. So I will let the system go over. And if it goes over, I will then buy the vouchers to make up for my over attendees. And a quick plug, of course, there is a Zoom sessions weekly meeting where you can scare living daylights out of the Zoom staff by asking questions that they haven't thought of. And you're welcome to join us there.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I just want to know if anyone said hi to Josh. Hi, Josh.
Hello. What did I do with that mouse?
He's sneaking in right at the end, David.
I was going to say, and we've said hello to Josh. Thanks for joining us on another Zoom Test Kitchen. Now that we've said hi to Josh.
Check.
Check. Exactly. I don't want to cut anyone off. Is there anything else coming up. Hey, Frank, just nod. You don't have to say anything. Just nod if we'll have more to talk about next week. Oh, yes. Fantastic. We will have more to talk about.
It's going to be an interesting spring, too.
Yeah, throughout. Huh?
There's some cool things coming.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right, my friends, I think we'll call it. Wishing you all a lovely, lovely weekend. If it's your spring break, I hope you're doing. Is it your spring break, Frank? Or no, they don't. Do colleges have? I don't even know.
We have reading week, and it's already come and gone.
Reading week.
We're almost at the last week of classes, and then it's
right.
finals.
That's before. Yeah, reading week is before finals, right?
It's for us. It's halfway through the winter semester. There's a reading week in the fall, and there's one in the winter.
Gotcha. And in the elementary world, they call it March break.
Smarch.
Smarch. Yeah.
And in Florida, we call it Hell Week because everyone comes down here. They don't know how to drive. They go to South Beach and make a mess of things.
And do this AA is the important part.
Have you seen that Florida's been like locking things down for spring break?
Get vaccinated and you won't have a measles epidemic.
Vaccinated. Well, if you're getting vaccinated, don't bother coming to Florida because our governor does not like vaccinations. So, I'm just saying.
No politics.
Right. No politics. No politics.
Jeff would be angry.
No, I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying he's not a fan of vaccinations. No judgment at all. No judgment at all. Ray, you came just in time to say goodbye.
I saw Josh was in. I had to come in and say hello. Josh helped me with that marathon session yesterday. It was a big help.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. I'll see y'all soon. We'll see you next week at the kitchen. Bye.